gani nzuri sana, wageni makaribishwa Kilimanjaro, hakuna matata, pole pole, hakuna matata. Jambo.
I'm in Africa, in Tanzania, about to climb the tallest freestanding mountain in the world. It's not about the destination, it's about the journey. And I'm gonna take you with me on the journey. What things are you climbing in your life and what journeys are you on? I'm taking you along and we're gonna go climb this mountain. Come on.
So we've gone a quarter of a mile. How are you feeling?
Shut up. We've gone more than a quarter of a mile. You're a turkey.
You look a little winded for 1/8 of a mile.
I bet we've gone at least a mile. We're a third of the way in.
We shall see.
It is uphill. I'm telling you. Day one. Today was supposed to be the easy day. Do you think it was easy?
I think it was a breeze, personally.
Yeah, of course you did.
It was awesome. Let's do it again.
So much. That's a mat that's in there.
That's awesome.
Oh my gosh, it looks so comfortable. I made it through day one on the mountain, but I still have several days to go. I hope you're home pulling for me. But I was thinking about you today, and many of you are not on a journey because you quit before you even started. You've given up. You don't believe that you can do it, so you haven't even picked up that project. You haven't started that business, and you haven't run after that dream. You've quit before you started the journey. For those of you that have done that, I want you to convince yourself that you can run after it, that you can go get it, and that you can move forward. And I want you to pick up that project or start that new business today. Some of you, you've started it, but the going got rough and you gave up along the way and you set it on a shelf and you've tried to forget about it. But you can't forget about it because there's something in you that wants to pursue it. I want you to pursue it and I want you to go after it. I want you to start the journey with me. So I'm going to get up tomorrow and I'm going to get up the next day and the next day and the next day. And I'm going to keep climbing this mountain and I'm going to take you with me on the journey. But I also want you to climb the mountains in your life. And I want you to pick up those projects and pick up those businesses that you want to pursue. And I want you to go after them. So stay with me on this journey. Day one. Only 6 more days to go. Woohoo! Day 2 of a 7-day trek. I slept pretty good. The altitude is starting to get to me. I can feel it. I'm at about, I think I'm at about 9,000 feet elevation, and we'll make significant gains today. So we will see how I do. I'm panting a little bit, short of breath, but we have a lot of climbing to do today. You can see Mt Kilimanjaro waiting for me, and it's gonna be an amazing day, and I'm taking you on the journey. Pace is very slow. very slow. They say pole, pole, which means slow, slow, so that you can save your energy to make it for 7 or 8 hours a day. All right, I'm tired. Day 2. We haven't been walking long, but I have a backache. I don't know if it's from the 3-hour bus ride to get here or if it's from the walking. But I'm trying to push through.
And there's a big line of.
We have gone from the forest into what appears to be a very arid region. It's very hot here, and we are all roasting in the sun. We've stopped for a quick water break, and you can see Mt Kilimanjaro in the background. It's a beautiful view. They said at the rate we're going, it's going to take 12 hours to get to our camp today on day 2. And I would much rather go faster and get to camp than go at this slow pace. So we're going to talk to the guide and see if we can split off into 2 groups. One that's a faster group so we can get to camp earlier, and let the slow group go at their own pace. I'm feeling a little discouraged. We're about 30 minutes from lunch. Almost 4 hours. Almost 4 hours, and we're still 30 minutes away from our halfway mark.
But I feel like everything is extremely amazing. Like, oh my god, it's the best hot chocolate ever. Oh my god, it's the best hand. Like,
You know, when you're exhausted, everything feels so good.
You're so much more grateful for anything that's put in front of you.
I personally love the bananas.
Oh my god,
I was telling yesterday.
This is a death trap. Look at this. One little slip. These rocks are all wet. Are you flipping kidding me? Look at that. That is uphill all the way. He said the second half was flat. This isn't flat. This is a flippin' hill. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. Will you give me a piggyback ride?
No. Did I tell you we're going to 19,000 feet?
Yeah, turn off the camera so I can swear. There's some words I have in mind, and I don't want my mom to hear them. I see the camp for day 2, and I have never seen a more beautiful sight. I'm so relieved, because honestly, my body's hurting. It looks like it's about 10 or 15 minutes away. So here we go.
You made it!
Yeah.
Hello. Ellie.
Stuck my foot in a mud puddle.
Okay, so sorry. You made it.
My foot is cold.
You okay?
Yes, I'm okay. Oh my gosh. Oh. I may never get up again. I can't put my shoes on, they're muddy. Oh my gosh. Oh, God bless America. I was talking to that young girl. I was like, oh, that was a hard day. She was like, I thought it was pretty easy. I'm like, I'm gonna slap the crap out of you. I guess that's the difference between 20 and, me, 20 something. So day 2, made it to camp, and I'm at, kind of looks like an Everest base camp, which is kind of interesting. We'll show you the pictures of camp. I'm at about 12,000 feet elevation, which makes the oxygen in the air really thin. There's 2 thoughts I had today that I think are applicable to all of you. One is You know, we got here to camp, and these young guys, our porters and our Sherpas, carry the tents, the toilet, all the food, my bag. They carry all the stuff up for us. There's 40 Sherpas for 10 guests in our group. So it's a 4-to-1 ratio. So there's 4 of them to every one of us. And I was thinking of how closely that aligns to life, that we really don't succeed in life unless we have a village supporting us. That in your business, that you're starting, or in the business that you're working, it takes so many people that are supporting you, encouraging you, and kind of on your team, holding you up while you're, oh, this feels so good to lay down, holding you up while you are trying to do the work. And I think sometimes we try to do it all by ourselves. We think that we don't need people. And I think that's one of our biggest problems, is doing things alone and not letting others help us. So that's one big thought I had today. The second thing that came to me was perspective. I fell behind the group at one point. I had terrible back pain. I have 3 artificial discs, and I have 4 steel cages in my spine, and I'm actually fused from C4 to L4. And at times the pain can be excruciating if I do too much physical activity. And today I was definitely doing too much physical activity. So I fell behind the group, and I felt like I was hours behind the group. And the worst thing came to mind. I thought, I'm gonna get to camp hours and hours and hours behind everyone else. And I couldn't see the group ahead of me. I knew there was a group behind me, but the group behind me was an older group. I think they're in their 70s. And I lost perspective. And I think, how often do we lose perspective in our businesses? And we think that we're falling behind, and we think that we're never gonna catch up. And I came around this bend in the road, and I looked up, and there was the group. I was literally only 10 minutes behind them. And at that time, I literally thought I was hours behind them. So be careful that you don't lose perspective in your lives and in your businesses. Don't give up too early. Don't think you have to throw in the towel, because you may not be as far behind as you think you are. And I'll leave you with one final point for day 2. And that's that sometimes the going gets rough. On a pain scale of 1 to 10, I hit a 7 today. And I struggled. Sometimes you're not going to want to go on. Sometimes you're going to want to give up. But you will not win the race that you want to be on. You will not get where you want to go unless you keep going despite obstacles. And you keep going despite how difficult it might get. So I want to encourage you, despite how hard it may seem at times, to keep going, to keep persevering, and to keep pursuing your goal. So there's a day 2 summary from base camp on the way to Mt Kilimanjaro. Continue to follow me on the journey, and I'll weigh in on day 3. My heart rate's too high. It's 130, and I'm trying to relax. This is me relaxing. Relax, relax. My body hurts. I've been to the bathroom 4 times this morning. My body's going, what are you doing to me? For all of you big whiny babies, I am climbing the tallest freestanding mountain in the world.
Jambo bwana, habari gani? Nzuri sana. Wageni makaribishwa Kilimanjaro, hakuna matata. Hakuna matata.